Demand for corn continues to increase because of its many uses and the numerous products derived from it. To meet the increasing need for this grain, corn production should be sustained. There are many limiting factors to corn production. Prevalence of insect pests is one major constraint to successful production. Use of insecticides is the most common method to control insect pests. However, continuous use of pesticides may produce insects that are resistant to these insecticides. It is also hazardous to human health and our environment. Adopting pest management or PM strategy is an option to solve these problems. You need not spend that much to effectively control insect pests. PM is a system involving two or more tactics directed towards the reduction of pest population below damaging levels. These tactics include biological control, varietal resistance, cultural control, mechanical control, chemical control, and other potential control tactics. This video intends to help farmers identify the important insect pests of corn and discuss PM control tactics for each. There are more than 50 recorded species of insects feeding on corn. However, only 8 are considered important. Insect pests damage all growth stages of the corn plant. For each of such stage, you should know which insects attack the plant. Understanding this is basic for an effective PM. Among the 8 species, the Asian corn borer, or ACB, is the most destructive insect pest of corn in the Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries. Eggs can be found underneath or on the upper surface of the leaves near the midrib. Eggs of the ACB are shiny, scale-like, and white when newly laid. Egg hatches within 3 to 4 days. Newly hatched larva is pinkish with black or brown head and dark, semicircular spots. It feeds on the leaves, causing pinhead-sized holes. Its body color turns creamy to dirty white when larva matures. Moreover, high larval population damages the tassels. The late 4th instar larva causes the greatest damage. It feeds on the silk, enters the stalk, corn ear, and later bores deeper into the cob. After about 17 days, the larva transforms into the pupa. The pupa is about 12 to 18 millimeters long and 2.8 to 4 millimeters wide. After 7 to 9 days, the pupa will emerge into a moth. The male moth is pale to dark brown, with the apical portion of the forewings usually crossed by 2 zigzag lines darker than the rest of the wings. The female moth is stouter than the male. Its color varies between shades of yellow and light brown. It lays a total of 313 eggs within 2.5 days. If your area is infested with corn borer, you can combine 2 or more control tactics. Biological control is the use of living organisms to suppress pest population.
This method is safe and economical. That is why it is compatible with other control methods.
Studies show that the dominant natural enemies of the Asian corn borer are trichogramma, earwigs, flower bug, coccinellid beetles, and spiders. These biological control agents feed on the different stages of corn borer. If the population of trichogramma, parasitoid, and predators could be released in the field and properly conserved, Then the ACB population can be maintained at a non-damaging level. Biological control agents reduce environmental contamination and hazards to humans. Governments could save millions of pesos if the farmers will release natural enemies and conserve their population. Early planting is one of the cultural control strategies employed to prevent high population of ACB and other insect pests. Another cultural control method is through the removal of breeding sites and food sources of insects. Remove host plants between cropping time. Studies prove that intercropping of legumes and corn could reduce ACB population. The nectar of mung bean flowers provides food sources for the natural enemies and other beneficial insects. Crop rotation also reduces insect pests population. Mustard, tomato, and other vegetables can be planted after corn to break the life cycle of these insect pests. Another cultural method of reducing ACB population is the preservation of some weeds. Amaranthus spinosus is one of the dominant weed species in cornfields. This weed serves as refuge for the flower bugs and spiders. Allow this weed to grow around or at the border of corn plants. You can integrate cultural control method with other control tactics like planting resistant variety to reduce corn borer population. Some farmers use light trap to control pests. Some just handpick egg masses. This is an example of a mechanical control method. Another mechanical control method is the detasseling technique. Experiments show that detasseling or removing corn flowers 3 rows in every 4 rows at about 40 to 50 days after planting or before pollen shredding could increase yield by 20 to 30%. It controls the corn borers, which stay and feed on the tassels. Another PM tactic is by planting Bt corn, a genetically modified organism or GMO. Bt corn is a genetically engineered hybrid corn which could produce its own insecticide against corn borer. Planting Bt corn can reduce use of chemical insecticides, produce high yield despite the presence of ACB in the area, reduce labor inputs, and consequently increase profit. Atherigona or Rhiza malloc, or corn seedling maggot, attack corn plants during the seedling stage. Infested plants become stunted and leaves turn yellowish. The larvae of corn seedling maggot are creamy white or transparent when newly hatched. The larvae are elongated and tapered towards the head, become yellowish when full grown, and measure about 2.2 millimeters long. To reduce the population of corn seedling maggot, spray any of the recommended insecticides like Decis, Simbush, Sevin, and Rodan. Use insecticides if corn seedling maggot infestation exceeds 10% of the total plants. Inspecting the soil around the root system of a wilting corn plant may indicate the presence of Leucopholis irorata, or white grub. It attacks corn plants from the seedling to tasseling stage. The larva of a white grub is white C-shaped and 2 to nearly 3 centimeters in length. It becomes pale yellow with blackish abdomen when full grown. The larva undergoes 3 growth stages with a total larval period of 289.5 days. The roots of corn are eaten up, resulting to stunted growth. Patches of yellowing plants in the field are signs of infestation. The larva digs deeper into the soil and transforms into a soft, white pupae inside an earthen cell from which beetles emerge. Beetles are glossy, black-gray with reddish tinge. Its length ranges from 1.5 to 2 centimeters. They have a life cycle of about 1 year. They are active night flyers. To prevent white grub infestation, prepare the land thoroughly before planting. Collect grubs and beetles manually. Apply granular insecticides like carbofuran at planting when pest population is high, which is usually from August to November. Ispodeptera litura, or cutworm, is a serious pest not only of corn but also of vegetables, rice, sugarcane, cotton, and other plants. Common cutworm damages corn plant at emergence to early whorl stage. The presence of irregularly shaped leaves, holes in the leaf blade, and excrement in leaves or ground are associated with cutworm larval infestation. The larvae feed at night. At daytime, they are concealed in the soil at the base of the plant. Adults are 2 to 3 centimeters long and dull brown, gray, or black with markings on the front wings. To prevent cutworm infestation, collect egg masses and crush them. Spray only pyrethroids if there is severe infestation. Now, let's talk about Methymna separata, or true armyworm. It damages the corn plant at late whorl to grain filling stage. The larvae of true armyworm may eat the entire leaves, leaving only the midribs. The larva is greenish or purplish brown. It measures 4 to 5 centimeters long. It undergoes 5 to 6 growth stages within 14 to 25 days. The adult is a grayish dark brown moth. It lays eggs on maize leaves in nearly spherical yellowish white, fuzz-covered clusters. Spot application of granular carbofuran in the whorl may be done when there is at least one larva in one plant. Treat only those plants with larvae. Helicoverpa armigera, or corn earworm, damages plant at early whorl to hard dough stage. Eggs of the corn earworm are subspherical. Newly laid eggs are cream, then turn dark when about to hatch. As the larvae mature, color varies from pale green to brown. The newly hatched larvae feed on the silk and gradually feed on the developing ears, kernels, and the cob. They also attack the leaves and tassels. Rows of perforations can be seen in the damaged leaves. Evaluate if there is infestation of earworm in previous cropping seasons. Do not plant any crops which may serve as host to corn earworm. Tomato and legumes are hosts of corn earworm. Apply granular or sprayable insecticide directly into the whorl when more than 40% of the plants show earworm damage. Rhopalosifum maidis, or corn leaf aphid, is a vector of the sugarcane mosaic virus, maize dwarf mosaic virus, and maize leaf fleck virus. Infested plants have aphid colonies on leaves and tassels. Both nymphs and adults feed on the plants. Aphids excrete sugary droplets where black molds develop. Infested plants become stunted and show yellowish mottling. Female adult corn leaf aphid is small and greenish blue. It does not lay eggs, but gives birth to living nymphs. To control aphids, conserve the natural enemies like coccinidid beetles, cirpid flies, and green lacewings. Plant resistant varieties Spray a mixture of hot pepper and powdered soap. The corn plant hopper, Peregrinus maedis, can be seen in the leaf surface but is mostly hidden in the whorl and between the leaf sheath and stem. Infestation may be associated with the presence of ants on leaf whorl, droplets of honeydew, and sooty molds on the surface of the plants. The adult is light brown, while the nymph has two lateral dots on the fifth abdominal segment and the third dot at the dorsal portion of the tip of the abdomen. In spite of the advantages of previously mentioned control methods, sometimes chemical control is still commonly practiced. If spraying is needed, use selective insecticides with low toxicity to man and non-target organisms. Before applying any insecticide, first evaluate the economic threshold level, or ETL. This is the level of pest population or degree of plant damage in which control measures should be initiated to prevent population damage from reaching the economic injury level. In corn, ETL was only established for the Asian corn borer.
Use insecticides if there are 100 larvae per 100 plants, or if 30 to 40% of the plants were damaged by the Asian corn borer.
Use of chemical control alone can be harmful to man and the environment. It is also expensive in the long run. Pest management is an option to save input, increase income, and save the environment. So, what are you waiting for? Practice PM and be the one to reap its benefits.